Bruntz, let me ask you something rapid fire here before we get you out of here with football. We're talking like young quarterbacks and best case scenarios and in this whole middle of the pack and how to cut through the depth of the middle of the Big Ten. It's going to kind of go rapid fire if we start with quarterbacks. Okay. If you like Nebraska's situation better or Illinois?
Just quarterbacks?
Altmaier and Raiola.
Just quarterbacks. I like the ceiling of Nebraska's situation.
Okay, what about with Minnesota and Nebraska? They feel like they've got their guy too.
I think I would still take Nebraska in terms of somebody that can lift a team a little bit higher.
Okay, what about like Mendoza and Indiana and Nebraska?
I've watched a lot of Cal football in my day. That usually is as I'm tucking myself into bed. I just quarterbacks. I think I would take Raiola. I think Mendoza can do a lot in that system, though. I think that's a really good.
What about SC? Year 2 with Riley. He didn't look great against us, but they won.
Yeah. I think I would still take Raiola. Not to be homery here, but I think I would still take Raiola.
What about UCLA?
Remind me again, who are they going with? Who's their guy?
It's going to be Nico.
Good old Nico.
I would take Dylan. Okay. I don't think there are many quarterbacks that just straight up in terms of what I believe their ceiling are that I would take ahead of Raiola.
Okay, so that might answer my follow-up question.
You gonna go national?
But here's my quick rapid fire defense of my. Okay,
go ahead.
I think some of the situations around some of those quarterbacks I would much prefer. I would much prefer Altmaier's situation around him than what I've got at Nebraska.
How much of what you're expecting from Dylan, because of the guys we talked about, he probably has. You can make the case he has the biggest jump to make. From 13 to 11. We like the completion percentage, but we want the yardage output to be a little better. Is it the partnering with Holgorsen? Is it the fact that we do view him as so talented? And this will kind of set up the next question.
I think he's a lot more talented than he showed last year, and I think there's more of a ceiling there, especially on the deep ball stuff. Like, if you just go back and think of the number of throws that I think he'll probably make this year that he didn't make last year, I think that's the reason why, in my mind, there's this much between where he's at and the ceiling versus other guys. The Holgorsen thing helps. I think that I don't think he played meek last year at times, but I think that there's another level that he can go to as a competitor that he didn't get to last year.
Let me ask you something, because he just tugged at my heartstrings, because he's the only other person I've heard say this. And your sphere of influence, like the media, because I could be missing it, and he's looking around. Oh, your buddies, all the people you influence.
My sphere.
Yeah. Maybe. Have you heard people talk about the deep ball? Because that is my number one thing I've talked about all off season, where they have to learn to take the gimmies. Are other people talking about that? So I should not call you a genius because you agree with me? Or...
No, other people are talking. That's not a unique thought. No, I mean, if you think back to last season, there were 3 games where there were throws that came at a critical moment where you're like, if they hit that, is it a 9-win season last year? I mean, if you hit that throw,
I don't know. Are you putting that ahead of special teams or in conjunction with?
No,
because I think it's pretty easy to get to that number.
Special teams is over here, outside of the sphere. But I mean, you had that
Illinois and Iowa right away.
Right. There was a throw against Ohio State along the sidelines where if they would have hit that one, I mean, that's a different that game changes in a hurry more so than it already had. So
yeah, because Ohio State's already trailing at that point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more potential there to hit on those things, and they want to be more explosive. I mean, it's got to be part of the offense to make that work, because they don't want to. they don't want to be an offense that has to grind out 12-play drives because it's just a recipe for bad things. So, I mean, I think there can be more improvement there. And I just think based on what we saw last year, I mean, there was a lot of good last year that Dylan did in a year where you had a mid-season offensive coordinator change, play calling that I don't know played to his strengths at times during the first 2/3 of the season. And I think there's arm talent and just kind of an intangible thing that we just have not seen from him yet. I mean, from the little glimpses we got to see of him in spring ball, he was a guy who seemed a lot more comfortable and confident than what I remember him being last year.
That's our guy, Michael Bruntz, Husker247. Bruntz, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep. See you guys.